All right, you saw me once, now you saw me twice. Welcome to week 7, the semifinals. The last semifinals match, rather, of this season, of the summer season. Today we have one going up against BOP. We're gonna get to see who is truly the greatest. At least the second greatest, potentially. One of the top twos. Just last week, one lost to PP, so one has been knocked down to the lower bracket up against BOP. Whoever loses this one is out. Whoever wins this one goes up against PP next week. So maybe one will win this and get that rematch they want. Or maybe BOP will show that they are going to be the best on paper and move up through the rankings into the finals. But it's exciting moving into the weekend, towards the weekend, and going into it with a late night semifinals match. Late night, super exciting semifinals match. So I'm ready. I'm excited. Praying for 2-0. Sort of kidding. It's late and I am a little more tired than desired, but that's just what happens when you go a little crazy on the pizza on a Friday. It maybe makes you a little bit more tired than you should be, but that's not important. What is important is this week we are playing on patch 14.14, just released, fresh and new. Not honestly, the buffs and nerfs this patch were not as impactful as I would have hoped. They kind of needed, I don't know. A lot of the nerfs, at least, were very like pseudo nerfs and don't really do anything or exist or matter. So that's kind of the little issue there. But nevertheless, changes some things up. The Warmog's nerf is probably one of the most like significant things. You can't really like rush it necessarily. It's more of like a second item purchase now. So it's a small change. I don't know. What have I seen? Let me check out my notes. So I was gonna say, I don't think I've seen necessarily either support in this situation. Not typically like the tanky support type people, so I don't really expect to see that really impacting this game, honestly. Aurora has released, but she is not currently playable. She won't be playable for the rest of this tournament, I believe. She's not. I believe it was said earlier that she's not playable until 2 weeks after they released her next patch, and in that case, that would happen after the finals. So Aurora won't be playable throughout the semifinals and finals, even though she did just release. So we won't get any excitement from that. And right, below me, congratulations, Victory, week 6 player of the week. Had some great plays. I didn't really have a chance to watch them. I was a little bit busy this past week, so I'm glad that a lot of other people were able to step up the casts, and there does sound like there was some really good casts. I might actually make sure I watch those, because it sounds like they were pretty fun. But yeah, overall, I've been a little busy, and then also, it sounds funny because I'm saying I'm really busy, but man, I dived into Swarm, played Swarm for like several hours. If people want to play Swarm, it's so good. Make sure you level your items first, and then your passives. And hopefully... Okay. Hopefully, it looks like draft might be starting soon. I'm not 100% sure we don't have all the players in the lobby, but we do have the draft ball screen. So, hopefully, we get that going up soon. But I'll hop back onto the patch notes. We'll go over a little bit. Because we did get some Aphelios buffs. So I am excited to see how that goes. There are actually some pretty decent buffs. But right as I'm thinking about getting into the numbers, we are going to start getting into the draft. So let me make sure this is the right screen. There we go. Hopping into the draft. I have the teams on the wrong side, but that's fine. Okay, that switched right back around. Starting off with some bands that I love to see. Set band, Vex band, Udyr band. Udyr, I believe, is one of the junglers that wasn't really touched. A Nocturne band is great. I heard that Nocturne has kind of just been like sleeper OP, or maybe just noticeably OP, and I'm the only one that hasn't noticed. But Nocturne overall has been a pretty great jungler. Udyr didn't receive any direct nerfs, which makes sense. He's like kind of a Faded Ashes clear abuser, but not really nearly as much as like everybody else that got nerfed. Actually, there's only 3 people. Brand, Syra, and Lilia are the only like, Faded Ashes jungle clear nerfs. We have Caitlyn picked up for BOP. The wrong side of this paper pulled up. I do remember Jack's Caitlyn was like, on the last game I casted, it was like a bit of a meme about it being both OP and bad, so nice to see that picked away, although Jinx is still a strong pick. Skarner, I'm excited to see that. I feel like every time I've been casting, I've like looked at 2 teams that had like strong Skarners, and then I never get to see Skarner picked. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I have seen Skarner once, but like it's just banned so often, so I am excited to see it. I don't know what is up with Draft Wall today, but it seems like some slots on the site are missing. Like that bottom ban slot is like gone. Hopefully that's not an actual bug. And hopefully that's just visual and it'll fix itself when we get to those bans. But we'll hear about that later. For right now, we got the Braum being picked up as well. A little early to pick the Braum. I mean, I like Braum. Braum's a good pick. But I do like to save the Braum for later, use it as more of a counter pick, and if you could, like, I usually just prefer to pick, like, Nautilus or Blitzcrank or, like, Thresh. I feel like it's just better to have those hook supports. I don't know. I also feel like I feel like support is one of those roles that you want to save for like the second half, maybe. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Drafting is always so complicated, and it's not as easy as you want to pick this here. It's so complicated team by team. so I'm not gonna gap my shit. I'm just gonna see what ends up getting taken here. So Lucian and Oriana. Lucian mid-ban is a little weird. Is he one of... I don't know that he's necessarily been... I mean, I guess it's not bad. It really isn't bad. Okay, yes, there is a visual bug where I can't see the other ban. So I have no idea what they banned right there. I have no idea what BOP's 5th ban is. Unless there actually just isn't one. And I'm missing something. But I don't know about that. It seems a little weird. A Mumu picked up for, I'm assuming, the jungle. For one, not a jungler that I like, but one that keeps coming up over and over again. Really, honestly, not the greatest fan. The Cho'Gath. It's a Giga Chad pick. I like seeing it. I like seeing it. It's not necessarily the strongest pick, but it's one of those champs that I feel like is actually fun. I don't know about fun to play against necessarily, but it's fun. The Ezreal to finish up the comp. And the Nivea. Nivea is... Man, her damage is crazy. But I feel like if Nivea is going up against Ezreal, and Nivea is actually going to struggle a decent bit here. Like, there's... Like, anytime a Nivea, like, presses Q, Ezreal can just, like, E forward and start trading onto a Nivea and just win. Because then all a Nivea has is her E, and it's just not going to do anything. So, yeah, overall, I feel like that doesn't really matter too much. But, oh, BOP had to get subs and missing a second round ban. How does that work? Like, do they get like a higher cost subs they lose a ban? That seems weird to me. Well, anyways, having a look at these comps. Just starting off with BOP. I mean, Caitlyn Braum, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a strong bot lane with the Caitlyn Braum. A lot of poke, and also Braum is just like crazy support. I love seeing Braum. It's just so good. Like, his poke is like solid, and then his poke just becomes CC, especially on a long-ranged ADC like Caitlyn. It can be pretty darn impactful, unless they end up throwing Caitlyn mid. I imagine that the Ezreal just feels so much better mid here. I feel like if they throw Caitlyn mid, it's like troll. And it does look like they are throwing the Ezreal mid. I will maybe hop over to the client soon. But I gotta wait for the picks to be finalized. The Cho'Gath and Shyvana. I mean, the Cho'Gath he'll scale. He'll just try to scale, and then hopefully he can take the damage in the late game. Might be hard to tank that damage. I feel like It depends on how much BOP can do behind Cho'Gath or following up on Cho'Gath, and how much one can do to Cho'Gath. So I'll have a look at that in a second after I finish looking at the full comps. Shyvana jungle will be an interesting one. I haven't played that in ages. I don't know how the build is. I'll be interested to see how this is built, because I feel like, I don't know, I haven't, last time I played it, it was like full AP, and then there was another time where it started to shift back to AD, and then it might be even tank right now. It's like 80 AP, it looks like it's the meta build. Well, I say 80 AP, it's just Spear Shojin into AP, which makes sense. So that looks like it'd be a good pick. Shyvana, her E in alt form is just crazy damage, and I feel like, honestly, it'll be really helpful. While Cho'Gath is like up in the front line tanking stuff, Shyvana can just like hop out to the side and like try and get a huge blast out in the back line. Could be really impactful. But now looking up and down at 1, we've got the Jinx, Soraka in the bot lane, which honestly I'm not feeling amazing about. It's not bad, but honestly, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard for Soraka these days, I feel. Because Soraka just, her healing is, I mean, it's helpful, but I don't know, it's like, when you're against like anything, I don't know, like any lane that has the ability to play aggressively, like Soraka just isn't going to do that too well into, unless she is just amazing in EQs and amazing at dodging everything. Then Soraka is just going to struggle. So I'm not really too sure about that. Jinx is also like not exactly the strongest early, especially against a Caitlyn. Caitlyn has that empowered headshot, so she has big damage upgrades. Jinx early has just nothing. She has autos. Because Rocket's switching it for farther. That's like all she has though. Not really anything too crazy. The Nivea in the mid lane against the Ezreal, I think is going to struggle a lot. I think that Nivea is going to be like nothing in laning phase. I think that Nivea is going to be like needing to farm under tower, or this Ezreal is going to need to really lock in and start hitting E's if they aren't already. Because this should be just really easy for Ezreal. You just like dodge Nivea's Q, and then you just go and start trading and you win. So it should be pretty easy. The Amumu jungle, I'm not even gonna really talk about it. It's kind of just, it's one of those just chill, safe picks. It works. It's not crazy. It's not terrible. It's solid. It has really good potential to be amazing in team fights, but that's like all it really has. Okay, in client, Bop's last ban was Fiddlesticks. I don't know if that was just garbage that they threw in there because it doesn't matter, or if that was an actual ban. Pretty sure you can ban none, so I imagine they would have just done that if they actually had to lose a ban. But I don't know. But anyways, now that we've looked at the comps for a while, it's time for us to start looking into how they're actually going to play against each other. As we slowly start to hop on into game. Unless, actually, the game might crash. The game might actually crash. Nope, okay. We are successfully loading. I was a little worried there for a second, but now you can see the comps all in order instead of out of order. You can see we for sure do have the Ezreal mid. Which is a bit of an interesting pick. 80 mids have been quite a big thing recently. I don't think that BOP necessarily needed an AD mid. I do know that AD mids are just like so strong that people just kind of want to permanently have them on their team, so I suppose that's what we're seeing, is we're just seeing that AD is just OP. Both teams going for an innovative on the opposite sides of the map. Not going to find anything there. Ezreal with Conqueror should be able to like really stomp this mid lane out. It might be a little hard early before first back. I mean, you're gonna need like some way to have mana on Ezreal. I'm not sure if they're gonna go for the tier mana moon or if they're gonna just try to get Essence Reaver. I don't know if people like new Essence Reaver. I don't know how exactly that's going down with the like on hit mana restore.
No, I'm not happy
Mana
to see
refund.
you. Yes, that is...
So yeah, in the early game, I don't know, but before first back, Ezreal, depending on how long things go, and how Experian plays this, might be a little bit slow, or a little bit rough and tough for him.
Not so fast.
But Experian has a lot riding on their shoulders. Player of the week in the prior week. So a lot of ethos there. Flash blown from both sides and Ignite going down onto L. MPEX trying to finish them off. They're going to be able to dodge the way of that final Q. Really close there. L and Stuff Buff both using all of their Spellmeter spells. Real tough one there. It really shows the kind of strength of that Braum Caitlyn, because the Caitlyn just able to poke from so far, stacking up the Braum passive. The Soraka is forced to flash away early just to not get CC'd died, and then that caused so much more chaos to follow out and almost resulted in a death. So yeah, that Braum passive, pretty crazy, pretty annoying. Those headshots just chunking down for so much. They are able to heal out through it though. As long as Soraka hits some occasional Qs, then they should be able to sustain up enough damage to just not die. That's all they really need to hope for, is just don't die. Just be able to farm, and you should be doing pretty roughly good. Boost row coming in here for a mid gank. Gonna be able to deal quite big damage. Really bad Zed. Not able to E away from the Anivia Q like I discussed earlier, but was still able to E away and get out of there. Doki falling quite low. Is gonna use the exhaust. Dodging back and forth to try and avoid the knockup, but he's gonna get flashed on. Lynch Draco finishing them off. Taking a couple tower shots, but he's able to walk away. Flash spent by Lynch Draco. Exhaust spent by Doki. Doki having no flash will be able to teleport back to the tower though. Fusro now going in deeper on Lynch Draco. Lynch Draco though not gonna die. Fusro now dropping low. Bakasaur chasing them down. Fusro flashing away. Bakasaur following up with the flash. Doki was there to stop it. Honestly, I think if Fusro didn't flash there, he lives, which is weird. Because I think Fusro flashing there is what prompted Bakasor to flash there. Like, Doki was there ready to stop Bakasor from engaging too much further. But I think Fusro flashing just prompted Bakasor to flash, which caused them to flash over Doki that they didn't even know was actually there. Which made Doki completely unable to block anything or really cause any kind of diversion. So honestly, I think that's like one case where flashing away actually got somebody killed instead of saving them. But yeah, overall that's gonna be pretty rough for the top side of one. A death on Doki and Fusro, a kill on Lynch Draco and Bakasor.
Fight like ram.
Ezreal did get the tears, so they're going to have mana now. They're going to be able to poke this lane out pretty effectively. And as you could just see, Vixperian did just back. They were pretty low in health, so as you can see, Really Bad Zed is definitely doing his job, being pretty oppressive on this Ezreal pick in the mid lane. Should be easy for him to just dodge a lot of Anivia's Qs. That's really the only thing you need to dodge. The only thing you really can dodge. But yeah, they just have to dodge those, go in, and it's just such an easy win for them. Doki with Tyr is gonna be hurting them a lot this back. I mean, this first back, because it doesn't really give them anything. It just gives them mana, which is like usually fine, but Doki is like already behind and struggling. So I think that just like having Tyr here, I mean, I don't want to say that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, if you're gonna build Tyr, you want to build early, and there's not really, like, I don't know. Tanks are pretty limited in the ways that they can get mana, which is a little bit frustrating. Ooh, Doki gonna bring out the R, but unfortunately Lynch Draco was not being targeted by the tower until they went for that Maunch, but they are able to walk away, just devouring Doki and getting out of there. Really Bad Zed getting caught up a little bit by the Vixperian there, but still able to trade back quite some damage. Bakasor going in with the ult, doing a little bit of burn to Slamurai, but is gonna end up just falling back here onto Dragon.
No escape.
Bakasor stepping up, gonna find Vixperian here, gonna start to do some damage. Vixperian still has the passive, so they're really safe here. A lot of members of one were there to back that up too. Bakasor could have been in a tricky situation there, but they were used their ult to get on out of there before anything too bad happened. Definitely could have been a bad situation. They are able to just get out of there. Not too sure what Doki was doing, just standing around there for a second. Top lane seeing a lot of action this game. Really Bad Zed doing a good job in his lane, just forcing it to be pushed out, using that ult a few times to help chip the wave down and then clear it once it gets there. They're doing a good job at both keeping Anivia in lane by pushing that lane in so often, and also keeping Anivia out of lane by poking the Anivia down. It gives the Anivia a really difficult time of trying to decide, like, do I need to stay here? Can I back? Just creates tricky situations that allows Ezreal to abuse them, get some more damage off, and put a bigger advantage in his pocket. Fusro positioning for a potential bot side gank, but Bacchusaur is deep behind them. In the bot side, I'm not too sure something's going to happen out of this. Really bad Zed now going in. Bacchusaur using the ult, going to go in deep, getting under the tower, dropping back out. Now the Mpex using the ult, able to take out L. And then BOP has a clean extraction. How did Bacchusaur manage to get so deep behind enemy lines without one knowing? That's the craziest thing, is they were like so deep behind them and just punish free for doing that. Meanwhile, Ezreal's constant pushing, using the ult to push that wave in, gave him a little bit of a roam timer there over the Experience. While the Experience was backing, really bad Zed was able to go down to that fight, supply some damage, and help out there. Does create an actually a slight advantage for Experience for a moment. So it seems like they'll be able to back off. A TP coming in from Doki on the bot lane. Don't know if they'll be able to get a whole lot out of this. Does he have the ult? Does not. So unfortunately, it's not going to be too much. But oh, Slammer Jack just throws the rocket out. Just had to kill enough time to throw the rocket out. Anivia, hang on. Anivia just went down into Agnivia form. Ezreal, though, not going to really risk it. Is way too low on health and mana to do anything about it. Fusro now getting bullied by Lynch Draco. Don't think that Lynch Draco is going to be able to get killed there, but holy moly, the damage across the board here. It's going pretty high. Experian did lose their passive now. Ooh, really bad Zed with the instant E forwards there. Almost able to take down Experian, but Doki is there to help him out. Although Doki going to take a lot of damage too. And now Bacchusaur is there, hopping in, flying in, helping really bad Zed secure that kill. We've got a lot going for best on paper this game. And I can say for sure that when you look at these stats, it's definitely looking very, very sided towards them. Jinx being the only person on one to currently have kill. Meanwhile, Jinx's counterpart has a kill, and everybody else on BOP has a kill besides the support. So honestly, really intimidating in that respect. Although, to be fair, it's not too huge of an issue. Bacchusaur using the flash to get away over the wall.
Not so fast.
BOP looking to secure the Rift Herald. And now Stuff going for a bit of a mid gank. He uses the R to knock Experian up. Experian is now going to get caught up. Ooh, Stuff buff gets the kill. Finished off with the Ignite. Really bad Zed also getting finished off by the tower. Gonna be a 1-for-1. Unfortunately, one of those going into Brahm's pocket, Savajral's pocket. Not too terrible, but not too good either. Lynch Draco making his way up to the tier 2 turret.
You thought you were in crowd.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And at the same time, mid turret also getting taken out by Rift Herald. Shyvana then falling off that Rift Herald into the second tower is going to result in that tower going halfway down. So much effective tower damage done in the game so far by BOP. It is looking so BOP-sided right now. Honestly, I'm not too sure what one can do here. Although, I mean, looking at it earlier, I did say, you know, like, this bot lane from BOP and this mid lane from BOP are both going to be extremely oppressive. I didn't anticipate the Cho'Gath being as oppressive as he was in his lane, but did they did buff? I'm trying to think. They did buff Cho'Gath, right? They did. They gave his Q and his E. They gave his E a lot of damage, actually, so it doesn't surprise me too much that he's able to accomplish all of this. Now that I think about it, he is able to get a kill again on Dodoki. But it looks like Fusro is going to be chasing him down, able to take him down, finish him off, get a shutdown into his pocket. Hopefully start to leverage more gold towards their team, so they might be able to start making a comeback, because I think that one is still in this. Legitimately, even though League players' mental doesn't reflect, this game is not as... I'm trying to really put this in a good perspective, because it's had some ups and downs with its snowballiness lately. I really think it's not that snowbally. League players' mental is just more snowbally. Hopefully, we got some strong mentals, though, since we are in the semifinals. I hope that these players are playing with the brightest views in their heads, but it's going to be a little bit tough to get those brightest views right now, because Really Bad Zed is going to get caught out by 4 people inside of the enemy jungle. Samurai Jack now trying to chase down Stuff Buffer. If they have the traps, they might be able to stop him from escaping, but they're going to use the traps instead to get Mpex down. Mpex getting shut down. Gold going over into Samurai Jack's pocket, and that's exactly who you want the gold going into, because this Jinx is going to be absolutely insane in the team fights. I mean, it's an ADC, that's a given. So yeah, overall, I mean, as I was saying before, this bot lane and this mid lane, as I previously said, we're going to struggle. And looking back on to the patch notes, obviously the top lane was going to struggle too. So in lane, it's going to be rough, it's going to be tough, but hopefully in game it might be a little bit better. As I say that, Spring goes down there, just dying around Scuttle. Not really a great place to die, but just a little unfortunate. I think that, like, from here on out, it might be one's game. Okay, Mpex going deep in on L here, trying to chase so far, but it's gonna get slowed. Oh no! What? What? L left off with such little health. Ace in the hole getting so desperate, but it's not gonna find its mark. Trump Shooter 2. Electric Boogaloo hitting the ear, but not finishing him off. Experian, excellently well played. I mean, it is a Cho'Gath, and oh wait, no, I was about to say, and it's a mage with Liandry's, but it's not even a mage with Liandry's. Congratulations, Experian. You did it without Liandry's. Now you can build Liandry's and do it 100 more times. See, I'm telling you. BOP had a little throw there on Mpex, And now Vixperion is starting to show that they're a bit of a threat. Jinx has an item, which isn't too great. However, honestly, IE plus plus those boots and 2 daggers, like that's like basically full build Jinx, right? Oh, back to Soar, finding a good engage potential there. L dropping low, stuff buffer flashing forward to drop down the Ignite. L is going to be finished off from that one. Boost Row is going to drop low. They're going to be taken down next. Stuff buffer going in, throwing down the ult. It's going to miss everybody. And then the rest of one is going to be able to walk away. Bop now moving back onto the Dragon. Bop starting to find their foothold back on this game after a little bit of throwing, not really throwing, but just a couple deaths. Bop has finally found their foothold back in the game, starting to assert their dominance again. Gold lead of 6K.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Now at this point, I'm starting to lean off of the whole. It's still winnable for one, because it's starting to become a little more difficult at this point. Experian now getting caught out by Lynch Draco here, struggling to 1v1, but even if they manage to win this, Mpex is right over the wall, ready to help out, gonna finish off that kill, putting some gold in Mpex's pocket. It's good to really give some Mpex some more gold here, because Mpex is really gonna be your main damage dealer. It's not really gonna be your Cho'Gath. Your Cho'Gath is gonna be, you know, just tanking damage. He's gonna be sitting there burning the team, but he's definitely not gonna need gold necessarily, especially when you're this far ahead. You don't really need to build too much resistances, and especially when your team is steamrolling the enemy team this far. You're not going to be too much resistances. Bop now looking to move on to Baron from those 2 kills. The only person left from 1 is Samurai Jack. There is potential to steal, but they're not gonna try it. It would have been a really tough guess. So I don't blame them too much for not going for the steal. But Bop now has that Baron power play. Frag up in 3 minutes. It'll be Soul for Bop. So I gotta say, this game definitely be over the next 8 minutes, if not next 5. Because, I mean, honestly, how long does Baron buff? Is Baron buff? I don't want to. It doesn't last for 5 minutes, does it? That wouldn't make sense, would it? Like 3 minutes? It's like 3 minutes, right? I always feel embarrassed with the fact that I can never remember these things. But timers always go in and out of my head. When I was playing Swarm, I would keep paying attention to when things would spawn, and then like instantly forget. I'm just terrible with these timers. So I'm glad there's all these timers in the game, because I would just constantly be forgetting. I'd have to have like a cheat sheet on the side of my screen. I can remember so many other numbers, but for some reason the timers always get me. Which, to be fair, it feels like they tweak them a lot. They gotta change Juggle like twice a year, every year, so it's important to keep things fresh. And wow, that popping, burning damage from Bacchusor and Viscera on L is gonna be a lot. It wasn't gonna be enough to finish them off. Ooh, that flash got them killed. The flash allowed the bullet to snake around Fusro, hitting L, finishing them off. Now they're going in deeper. Really bad Zed flashing forward, going to be able to finish off Slamper Right Jack. Experience is next in the egg form, but they're going to be making scrambled eggs out of her. And Nivea going down.
Ace. Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Now Bop will be taking down the Nexus turrets. And taking down the Nexus. Bop taking game 1 of this semi-final match to determine who gets knocked out and who goes to the top. So we will be back very soon with game 2. Alright, I've got to say it. I know that earlier I was like, let's make this a quick 2-0 so we can go to bed. But I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. Even though so much of me would like to go lay in my bed. But, I mean, that's not really related to anything. I would just like to lay in my bed 24/7. It's just not really related to how tired I am. But I want this to be a 3-game series. Mainly I want one to really come back after that. I almost want one to like come back to the finals just to have their rematch chance. Mainly. But they have to earn that. They have to earn it. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully at the very least, whatever happens here, have a good game. It was a difficult draft last game, and one really paid for it. But regardless of whoever wins this one, PP has beaten them both in the playoffs. So both teams have a rematch that they're fighting for. So overall, a lot kind of on the stake mentally for them. This time, getting the Caitlyn first picked for Samurai Jack. That's his classic. He did good in that Jinx last game. He put in good work. Just unfortunately, a little bit of a rough game. For him. It was just a rough laning experience. So it's not necessarily of situations. Banning away the Jinx and the Braum is a solid choice. The Braum was pretty... I feel like the Braum was like a good pick, but it was really a pick that was strongly assisted by the Caitlyn pick. I'm not sure like how aware one is of that. Like I feel... I mean, I don't know. Braum is still just a solid pick though. It's not a terrible ban, but I feel like if you would have banned like Jinx and... I don't think you need to ban Aphelios. It's pretty rare you come across an Aphelios player. But with Aphelios having buffs, you almost just hope you would see an Aphelios in one of these things, right? But yeah, I don't think we're going to see any Aphelioses from any of these players. But if there's a time to learn Aphelios, it might be right now. Let me have a look at bot lane too. How's it looking? How's Aphelios falling on this? Okay, never mind. He's still one of the worst ADCs. Although that's not fair. I should really look at him in like... I feel like if I look at just Emerald Plus, it's probably a lot of people that don't know how to play him. But I don't want to look at like Master Plus, because then I'm skewing it too much, maybe. Okay, the win rate still isn't even that great at Master Plus, so... Even in Challenger, it's not particularly great. So yeah, Aphelios still struggling after the buffs, actually. So maybe it's not even that they want to see. I heard that the Aphelios buffs were supposed to be pretty strong. They look pretty decent. They're not too super insane. Actually, so honestly, I'm not too surprised. But anyways, enough talk about Aphelios and a bunch of nonsense, useless strap stuff. Let's go on to these picks, because we've got some good ones. We've got some cooking going. Because we have Volibear and Cho'Gath. Now, those are juicy. Those are pretty juicy picks. Volibear is... Man. I don't know. I react the same way every time I see picks. And it's just I don't know. I can't get over it. I can't get over just how Volibear is. Because it's just... It feels like nonsense right now. And I don't think it... I don't know. I don't know why... I guess Riot's content with it, but probably not happy with it. Because I feel like... I don't know, it doesn't really... Like... It doesn't fit, like, a sort of, like... the fantasy of the character, which Riot likes to talk about a lot, so I think that they're probably not, like, thrilled with it. But it is a viable situation for him. So people are going to play it. People are going to have fun with it. And following up after that, we got the Cho'Gath on 1 now. 1 was like, hey, that thing's pretty good, huh? Those buffs were pretty impactful. In fact, let's look at the numbers on those buffs. Because that is... Actually, early on his Q, it's nothing. Late on his Q, it's an extra 20 damage. So the Q, not really too much. But the E, I swear I heard, it gets actually really crazy. So the E, base damage was 22. plus a bunch of numbers. And then it went to 20 plus a bunch of numbers, but it scales just sort of up 20 each time instead of up 15 each time. So by rank 2, it's already doing more damage. And so maxing that first could be pretty huge. And also you have to really consider that, like, at the max rank, it's a difference of 18 damage. But that 18 damage needs to be like multiplied by, was it 3? Does 3 attacks it last for? So it's really 54 damage extra, which is decently impactful in the early game. I mean, you're not gonna have a max E, it'll be like 4th level E, which is still like 40 extra damage. So not bad. Definitely pretty like decent buff. And I mean, Shogath wasn't exactly like weak before, so definitely gonna help him out a decent bit there. So it doesn't really shock me too much. Anivia picked up again for 1. Anivia, I mean, Anivia did good last game. It just had a really bad lane matchup, but I think Anivia, I remember I took a quick glance at the damage charts from last game, and it was like Anivia was like the top, I'm pretty sure. So even though Anivia had a really bad lane matchup, Anivia still like did good damage. I'm still pretty impactful in the game. The Seraphine will... I've talked bad about the Seraphine before, but I've come around. Alright. The shield, it's good. The poke, it's good. The R, it's really impactful. I get it. I've come around. I've owned up to it. The Seraphine's decent. Alright. And in this situation, I feel like it's actually a pretty decent pick. I feel like 1 is gonna kind of have a comp that is... It's not like an insane engage necessarily. It feels weird for me to call it an engage. I think it is an engage. Like, I feel like most people would just call it this a good engage comp, sort of. But, like, it feels like a comp that almost just, like, blindsides you even though you see them. Like, you'll see them, and then, like, Volibear will R in on you, and Seraphine will R in, and then you'll just be lost. So it can be a quite hectic situation. However, BOP might have some bit of a counter to it, because Set's gonna mess up this Cho'Gath, man. Set's genuinely gonna like really bow this Cho'Gath. It's just gonna be... Yeah, I think this Set's probably gonna resurrect Cho'Gath lane, I think. The Ziggs wrecking the lane is just entirely dependent on if there's dodges or not. If they dodge, Ziggs is nothing. If Ziggs hits, then he wins. So that's just kind of how that is. But when it's a Ziggs and Karma, I don't like the odds of that. I think Caitlyn is absolutely screwed here. And then the Jarvan, I mean, solid ganker. It's another thing similar to the Amumu where I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's a pick. It works. It's not crazy, but it can be crazy. It can have good impact. It's one of those picks where it's like, yeah, it's there. Safe pick. It's like always kind of works. And whilst itself is not crazy, it can have really impactful moments. And then following up on that, we have the Galio to go into the Anivia, which it's a pretty big because his E will shut down Anivia's R, and also just kind of allow him to. I'm pretty sure he can like buffer Anivia's stun with that, right? Like if he does it, his whole E goes through and it doesn't get stopped in the middle of it. So not necessarily buffering it, but just kind of ignoring it is a more accurate description, in my opinion, of that situation. But yeah, overall, it's looking like a situation where BOP is going to just annihilate in lane again, and The only difference this time is that I feel like Bop doesn't have damage. Like, look at that comp. Like, once you get out of lane, where does Bop have damage? The only source of damage is, like, Ziggs, and then maybe Set Jarvan. But they're, like, their damage would be, like, bruiser damage, so against one, it's gonna be non-existent unless Set's playing, like, an assassin and getting behind them. I mean, which he can do with Cho'Gath. If he just R's Cho'Gath, slams down into the back line, that could be huge. But even doing that, it's very possible for one to reposition around that and make that not a super impactful thing. I think that one is gonna absolutely annihilate if it comes down to mid to late game team fights. Like, seriously, like, I don't think Bop can do anything unless they just manage to constantly just take Caitlyn out early. Because I mean, one isn't just solely reliant on Caitlyn. It's like a Caitlyn and a Nivea, maybe Seraphine too. Depends on how Seraphine builds. And then the Volibear will just be Volibear, all right? Knocking stuff down. The Volibear will be Volibear. It'll always be what it needs to be, and it will always have pretty much infinite health. But we'll have to see how it actually goes as the players play their champs as we hop into the game. Okay, I'm not gonna wait for this loading screen. It takes forever. Come on, Riot. Make loading screens fast again. Pretty nice Galio skin right there. The Enchanted Galio. Not as good as Birdio. Birdio is objectively the best skin, but, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Everybody's entitled to their skin. Doki doing the same thing again. No flash. This time just Ignite TP. I feel like this could go really well for them. I'm not sure about the Arcane Comment. Is that what the other Cho'Gath had last game?
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I can't remember. I'm not going to doubt it. Arcane Comment's is not going to be bad. Cho'Gath, though, starting the Ruby Crystal, now that's going to be bad. I feel like the Doran's Ring adds so much damage that starting the Ruby Crystal is just like admitting I don't want to win the lane anymore. I want to just farm. I don't want to do what Lynch Draco was doing last game where he was stomping the lane with it. I want to just sit here and farm. That's what taking the Ruby Crystal says to me. It's saying I just want to have health. I just want to farm and I want to get my heart steal as fast as possible. Which it's like, if that's what you want to do, why would you take Ignite TP and Arcane Comment? It doesn't really make sense. It's like the runes and the build are like conflicting a little bit to me. But also, I don't know, if Doki could play this in a way where it does work out for him pretty well. Could. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll be tough to play it in a way that really works out for them. And I kind of don't necessarily blame them. I mean, if they don't feel super confident on doing it, then I wouldn't necessarily try to go for a fully overconfident, I'm going to kill you and stomp you build. But I don't know, also throwing, like, not taking a Doran's item feels pretty bad. Feels pretty rough. Like, if you want to take an item to live, then just, like, take Doran's Ring. But I understand the Ruby Crystal is, like, just trying to rush an item faster. It is, honestly, kind of significant. It's, like, a whole 400 gold towards your item, which is, like, 4 waves like roughly 3 or 4 waves, right? Which is like not is it 3 minutes, 2 minutes? I want to say 2 minutes. So it's like decently significant. Maybe I'll just let it play out. I'll see how it goes. We'll see how things add up later. So right now we got some action in the other lanes. That is more important. Experian struggling again a little bit in this lane, although they're not too far behind Really Bad Zed. Really Bad Zed, though, does have that magic shield. Gonna be definitely gearing up to be pretty big opponent for Experian here. Both junglers sticking around for a long time. Really Bad Zed now going in. Fusro forced to flash away. Fusro is trying to go back in here. It looks like both teams just can't quite decide if they should go in or not. Both teams have pretty decent ability to win this if they play it right. But they're both like just barely out of reach.
Latvian only.
Bakasaur getting spotted here on the gank. Despite stealing away some camps, they're starting to fall a little bit behind on the farm. Gonna look to start Dragon. Don't know if they'll be able to get it. Meanwhile, Lynch Draco dropping low. Gonna have to flash away Doki. No flash to follow. The Ignite, I don't think quite would have killed. Lynch Draco gets a lot of healing. Ooh, the Ignite is gonna kill there. Getting the Q and Ignite combo under there. Lynch Draco didn't think that Doki had the damage, but Doki did have the damage. Doki gonna be able to push that in. Has the first blood. A lot of gold in their pocket. They'll be getting that first item even faster than they would have before. Really Bad Zed going in here, but it's gonna be at the wrong time because Fusro has come in here to help Experian. Really Bad Zed dropped so low. Gonna get taken out by Fusro at the same time. Bakasaur gonna be securing the first dragon for BOP. Decent bit of kills there for one. BOP, though, it was able to secure the dragon. Maybe Fusro here will go for the grubs. Try and get themselves a little bit of jungle pressure back after Jarvan has taken the first dragon. I need to get some kind of jungle trade-off here, or else BOP might feel like they actually won. Or not necessarily won the situation, but yeah, it's sort of an even trade. I don't know if anybody necessarily that's an even trade. 700 gold for Dragon. Not that BOP made a bad choice there, but I am just yapping. Ooh, Lynch Draco trying to chase down Doki, but the silence is gonna really mess him up. Ooh, just barely stepping back into that Q. Doki, though, just sidestepping into the true damage of that punch, it looked like.
Feel the praise.
It looks like, you know, I was wrong. Doki is doing a good job, and it is all making sense now as I see what he has built. The Catalyst of Aeons means they are going to be going for the Rod of Ages on the Cho'Gath, which is gonna be pretty strong, pretty crazy. If Experian getting dived down by Bakasaur, Fusro here to help him out. Experian is out of mana, but Fusro is so slow. Will they be able to take down Bakasaur? No, they won't, because he's gonna be able to get away, and Stuff Buffer is here to help Really Bad Zed make the escape too. Fusro hopefully being able to walk away here. Experian, no mana, no health bar. Gonna have to back. Unfortunately, no kills there for one. No more kills there for one. Honestly, that's like really tragic. Experian, oh, getting taken down into egg form there by the Q from Really Bad Zed. being so oppressive, and it's actually going to force Vexperian to possibly stay for another wave. They're going to be able to back now, but they're definitely going to be losing this wave. There's no way, even if they stay for it, there's not really much they can do about farming without mana.
Perfect. Focus. Sa ela sa.
Back to Sora again, getting spotted on a gank. He's gonna try going up pretty far to force it. Not gonna find anything there though. Doki will be safe where he is. Ooh, interrupting the EQ with his Q of his own. Back is Sora going full in for the ult. Doki now going for the Ignite. It's ticking down. He's going to get one kill. Oh, does he get away? Does he get away? Lynch Draco is going to run through the tower to try and get him. Doki, though, is going to knock him up under the tower. The tower's hitting him. He's going to be able to use the W to knock off the damage, but it's not going to be enough, and he's going to get taken down. This Doki 2 kills out of greed. So much greed from Bob. What is Bob doing? Bob wants this to go to 3 games. They want this to go to 3 games. What was that? What was that? Beck Sorceps is going crazy on the, down deep under the tower, and L at the same time. Not at the same time, but afterward. Gonna be throwing down an ult. Mpex taking down Stuff Buff, able to get away.
A soothing song.
Peace.
And Doki is just like dodging into the true damage on purpose. It's really weird. I don't know how they are getting away with this. But Lynch Draco is dropping low because those minions just keep shooting him and blasting him. Lynch Draco also having no damage stacked up on his passive, but he is healing passively from all of his potions and items and own self champion, and Doki just standing right there in the middle of the true damage. Again, he's getting hit with the true damage every single time of the set W. Doki finally getting taken out. Set getting 200 extra gold for that shutdown. Meanwhile, Bop will be able to pick up this dragon. Back is Sora dropping so low. The ace in the hole coming out, finishing him off. Really bad Zed trying to come in to help him out, but won't be able to get there in time. He's going to find Vexperian in the pit. Vexperian already spent the flash to get inside of the pit, so won't be able to flash out. Is going to be finished off by Mpex Fustro there, though, now to mess him up inside of the pit. Really bad Zed dropping low. Mpex able to bounce away and out of there. Ooh, Samurai Jack dropping so low. Almost able to take down Mpex. Samurai Jack getting caught by a stray bomb. Fustro able to take down Mpex to trade back a kill for a kill. Now I gotta say, this is like almost exactly what I wanted. There's a lot of action going on. Good fights happening. It is not even too one-sided right now, and oh my. Speaking of not being too one-sided right now, Lynch Draco chasing down Doki towards his tower. Now Lynch Draco getting closed in on by Fustro, but use the ult to bring Fustro away from his teammate and overall end the fight. No kills granted.
Let's do this then. My wings, your face.
Focus.
Feel the freeze.
back his sword, using the ult on Vixperian. Vixperian still has egg form available, so even if they take him down, it'll be another health bar to get through. Vixperian almost going down, but still not getting finished off. Really bad Zed is instead going to be the one getting taken down. Vixperian double kill. Zig's ulti coming out, but oh my gosh, Vixperian is able to just dodge everything. They just dodge everything. Ace in the hole, taking out Stuff Buff. So many more kills for one. This is the one that went up against PPA. Still lost against PPA, but this is the one. This is the performance that I want to see. Fusro now following down Mpex here. Fusro just will not be able to die. He has too much shielding, too much healing. Mpex, if they get another W, might be able to escape, but they're not going to get it anywhere near in time. Going to get taken down by Fusro there. Volibear is beginning to approach his point where he is going to be unkillable. I think at this point, because I said one is going to struggle in lane. And they're going to struggle in lane and they're going to stomp the team games. They have been outperforming in lane, and they are just going to steamroll through the rest of the game. This is one's game for sure. It's coming up to that 15-minute mark, and you know, it's time for BOP to throw in the towel. Not literally, but one has just absolutely claimed and conquered this game. The like only chance that BOP really has is like maybe a Lynch Draco hard carry, but I really don't foresee that happening. There's way too much CC. There's way too much CC and damage on the side of one for a single person to carry. Like, I would say maybe Mpex, but there's also just too much shielding on the side of one. Like, the Seraphine will shield the Caitlyn, so you can't just, like, one-shot the Caitlyn. The Volibear will shield himself, and he'll heal on you. The Cho'Gath will just have a million health, so even if you have Leandries burning through 10% of that health bar, kind of doesn't mean much. It is, yeah, it's good damage on it, but it's just not going to be enough. Mpex, Lynch Draco, Jarvan, even if you throw all these characters together and ask them to carry this game, it's just not going to happen. There's too much shields, CC, and damage. And one is showing it off right now. Sure, BOP got the tower, but they're trying so hard to get just any single kill here, and they're not going to be able to get it. Vixperian finishing off Mpex with a quick auto there. The wall blocking them off from running away. BOP, though, I mean, BOP is keeping good map pressure, good objective pressure. But I honestly feel like that's going to fall off pretty soon. Bacchus Sword just diving in again under the tower. There's no way that we get another Doki double tower kill. Thank goodness Lynch Draco was able to get away here. And wow, BOP really is claiming a lot of towers. Like, as I was talking about how much this game was in one's pocket, BOP just go ahead and takes almost 3 whole towers. I don't get how they were able to just claim so much for free. Like, where was one during this? Were they just all in a base?
Never falter.
Really bad Zed flashing back over the wall there. Forced to spend his flash. Gonna hurt him later because I feel like he's really gonna need that flash to pull off a crazy move in a team fight here. And now one is showing where they were. They're back in the map. They took a tower.
Focus.
Back is sore, flashing forward to get Samurai Jack there. Samurai Jack hit by the Zigzal, but it doesn't do any damage. Oh, and now the Seraphine is going to get stuff buff and MPEX both stuck in place. L going to get taken down, but stuff buff also dropping low. Really bad Zed going to go back to him real quick as his health bar drops to 0. MPEX now is the last one left. Volibear getting a double kill. And that's one's damage for you, even though BOP might have had a bit of a flash engage, a crazy play happening. One has the damage, and they're going to be going down on this mid lane tower. Just letting Set have top side. Mid lane tower is so much better, and honestly, I think that one might even be able to take 2 towers here. They're going to get greedy. They're going to go for it. Not really anybody to stop them.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Tower's gone, and it looks like they know the back is sore is nearby. Will they get caught? Back is sore going in on Samurai Jack. Last plant able to knock them away. Vixperian though down at Ignivia form. Will their team come to save them? Doesn't look like they have too much damage, but it looks like they will be able to still finish it off just in time before they come back. Samurai Jack is low and trying to get away. Fusro trying to use the Lightning Storm to save his teammate. Fusro now himself is caught. No flash, no ult in the pit, and is going to be taken down, dying, shut down for BOP. 30 seconds before the Baron spawns up. Although they're not going to be really preparing to do Baron. I don't know that necessarily that BOP has the damage for Baron at this point of the game. Definitely not one of those comps that can just clear it at 20 minutes. TP coming in here to try and save the turret, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter too much. You have a Ziggs Bomb at the base of the turret. Actually, the Ziggs Bomb wasn't even able to finish it off. It looks like they didn't have any damage to throw onto that turret for the Ziggs Bomb to do its execute. And we've got 2 Rod of Ages about to reach their max stacks on 1. You thought they were strong before, now wait till they are permanently a level ahead of you. And there we go, 1 procced. And Doki just got theirs procced. Not necessarily a crazy level advantage for the top lane, but definitely a bit of a level gap in the jungle for sure. Got a lot of members of BOP stacking up inside of the mid lane. Honestly, one might want to just kind of look to try and mirror them. They win any fight the BOP might want to take, just as long as Caitlyn isn't out of position.
Never falter.
And they can pretty much do whatever they want. Seraphine ult going out, only going to find stuff buff, but still enough to take down stuff buff. And taking down stuff buff might be all that they need. BOP looking to shift onto her, hitting the mid tower as hard as possible, while one takes the dragon. Gonna be able to trade tower for drag. Really bad Zed using his influence to stop them from backing. Is one going to lose here just through sheer lack of macro? Because it's like they're just winning in every regards, but like over twice the kills, and they're actually at a gold disadvantage. Twice the kills, almost same amount of jungle pressure, and just a slight gold disadvantage. I mean, it's crazy. Like, what is happening to one? They're honestly going to really struggle in this game. They need to find some organization, some planning, They need to like take a breath right now and be like, okay, what are we doing? Like they need to think about how to just force this game to a win, because they should just be winning right now. Like they're so, like they're just stronger. But I feel like it's like
Never
BOP is
falter.
just playing their macro really well to the point where whether they're ahead or behind, they're finding ways to take more than they maybe should be getting. Or maybe just taking things always in trade. Never just full losing something. So I feel like you need to like analyze your team's layout and think, where do we want to be right now? Drag's not up for another 3 minutes. Let's throw Vixperian bot lane, Doki top lane, everybody else mid lane. Have Vixperian just split. If they go on Vixperian, we just force Baron. If we find a fight mid or top, Vixperian teleports, we roam to it, we fight, we win, and then we take Baron and we win the game. I feel like it's just they don't know where they want to be right now, it feels like. Oh, Vixperian taking a huge amount of damage from that Grit W. Set is going to be doing a whole lot more damage. Vixperian down into the egg form, and the egg form is not going to save them. They're now taking out Doki, teleporting back to the base. Really bad Zed trying to stop it, was almost able to stop the Doki TP. Honestly, if they stopped the Doki TP there, that might have just been game for one. Fusro ulting away now. I mean, I just cannot believe that BOP is able to find the amount of pressure that they're doing right now. L is going to throw a little bit of a wide ult back to Sword now coming in behind them, and I think that with this low of health, they will find enough damage to take out both of these characters. L and Samurai Jack taken down here. Meanwhile, Lynch Draco still this whole time just hammering on this inhibitor. And now BOP is going to start to look to take out the bot turrets.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Lynch Draco getting knocked up, almost taken out, but it looks like he's going to be able to take out Doki first. Fusro now finishing off. MPEG's teleported in there. Don't know necessarily that that's what you wanted to do. But the Galio ult is going to allow really bad Zed to rally up to that location. Fusro trying to flash forward to take care of MPEG's, but back to Sora. Really bad Zed over there to finish them off. Stuff buff now joining the fray. Versus Samurai, Vix, and L. That wasn't me that burped. That was in game. Now that just makes it sound like I was the one who burped. Okay. One, just take a deep breath. BOP has done a lot to make this game highly winnable for them. But both teams have not necessarily an open nexus, but open nexus turrets. Both teams have a tunnel path into the enemy team's base that they can just win off of if they win a good fight at a good spot. So this is honestly really intimidating. One just has to play it smart. They just have to play together, don't get caught out, because that's the only way that BOP can win, is that they get caught out if Jarvan theoretically hits an R on a Caitlyn over a wall and MPEX follows up with another R, and then Fusro tries to follow in after it and gets taken down, and then BOP starts to push through the mid lane. Then you might have a bit of a problem happening if that hypothetically were to occur, as I was talking about how you need to not get picked out. just a possible situation. Experian flashing around, gonna try to finish off Lynchdrake, but Lynchdrake was able to walk away. Really bad Zed dropping low. It's gonna be finished off by Experian. Experian now trapping in stuff buff with them. So much damage coming from Experian, but meanwhile, Mpex was able to take the bot turret. One almost has an entirely open base. Mid turret is the only turret that is left between the enemies and their own Nexus turrets. But again, each team having a pathway into the enemy base. I mean, if you're not going to take the inhibitor, then you're not going to have super minions pushing in. The lanes are going to be roughly equal. And both teams will just have a sort of passage into the enemy team's base. Now one is taking this Baron, which could be huge for them. It could be game-winning. But if they don't get this fast enough, Mpex might just end. And BOP has stolen Baron! BOP has stolen Baron! Set and Ziggs are in the enemy base. They're trying to TP in, but they can't! The Nexus is gone! The Nexus is gone! One had such good performance, but BOP's macro this game was just stellar. They were always constantly taking towers, just constantly hitting these towers, constantly dancing circles around one, and that is going to be the series for BOP. BOP is going to be moving on to the finals next week. And one will unfortunately be getting knocked out here. They played so amazingly that second game, but unfortunately, BOP just managed to just keep hitting towers, keep playing around the map. And that Baron steal at the end, it wasn't critical, but it sure made it so Ziggs and Set were able to just instantly obliterate those towers at the end of the game and instantly finish it off. That was just a stellar finish by BOP, a great steal by Bakasaur. And overall, I think it bodes well for how exciting the finals could be next week. I've been Bunny having a great time casting, and I hope you guys have a great weekend and stay excited for these finals.